Okay, welcome everyone to the Dharma discussion group. And if you are online, Khenpo Tenzin can see you if you turn on your camera. And we'll begin.
Oh, yeah. Can I have the face, the names? Port here. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And I deeply rejoice, especially these days. It's really benefits for all. Thank you for all of sentient beings. And your names are always exist in the temple. Mahakala and Dharma protectors always protect you. And Jineze, Tara, and all the Idams, and Guru and practitioners. Your names always connect there. So you are very fortunate practitioners. Actually, I love to ask, of course, you have question today's teaching and so forth. We can do. May I ask you, this everybody, you raise up your hand. Are you, were you be yesterday Rinpoche's teaching? If yes, oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Thank you. And you too. Okay, wonderful. Okay, first I ask Tree, do you have a question or you have yesterday?
No, this is to raise my hand to answer your first question there.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I'm trying to figure out how to turn this thing off, okay?
It's so cute. It's okay. We just rest out there. Yeah. So, Rinpoche mentioned, oh yeah, Trash, do you have question or you rest up as I ask?
Well, I raised my hand for that, but also I have a question. It's really quick. Did we receive the text for the text that we're going through? You know, have we received it yet? Because I don't find a link. Maybe I missed it.
Yes, these are in the Zoom participate. Who participate in the Zoom, like you. I think you will receive this root text in the.
Oh, the root text. Okay, because I usually listen on YouTube because my volume is easier to control on YouTube, and then I come here to the discussion group on the Zoom so I can ask a question. But I didn't see a link on YouTube, so okay, I'll try to come here.
Yes, here. Thank you. So because of these translators as they're requesting, and then this commentary is not yet published.
Okay.
In the Europe, in Germany, some translators they translate it, but they are still process on there. So we don't have a complete this translation, this commentary. But the root text is this. We received from there as we request.
Great, thank you.
You are so welcome. Okay, Eleanor, do you have a question? Yes, please.
Just a quick one. I'm just trying to understand better a lot of stuff, but a manifestation. What causes a manifestation? Is that the process of it coming into existence? Is that the same like compounded reality?
These are
a lot of parts.
Yes. Manifestation is there are, I think we have to understand two ways. One is, for example, if you are manifestation of Avalokiteshvara, first he was just an ordinary person and practiced. Sometimes like practice as ordinary practitioner, sometimes practice as like a great practitioners, so something like that. And then he became enlightened, and then he came back in different forms, in different lives, but they were born in the from mother's womb. Some are like a human mothers, some are from the animal mothers, and so forth. But then when they grew, they spontaneously they have compassion, and then they listen Dharma. This Dharma teachings reminds them more. So that's the way. And then they become great practitioners, and then they become manifestation of Avalokiteshvara. That's one way. Another way is, for example, you have strong faith, Avalokiteshvara, and your mind is pure. Your mind, you purifies many obscurations. So then your mind becomes like a water pond, pure water. And then Avalokiteshvara's mind is like a moon. It spontaneously reflects in the water of your mind. So that's where then your activities are exactly same as Avalokiteshvara's activities, which means you benefit other beings. So in the relative level, slightly different. First manifestation and second manifestation is second part has less power, because still one engages obscurations, some obscurations, and self-grasping. First one is totally come for benefit others, so no obscurations. This is how we can explain that through this way. Another way is manifestation and sometimes truku are quite similar. Truku is, when we explain about truku, how did they do is, for example, right now practice very well, and then when they die, passed away, and then when they passed away, then during the death process, for a moment ago, I mentioned that about Tukdam and something. When they die, they cannot recognize the clarity of death. So that's where they fall. So because they could not understand the clarity of death when they die. And then, but during the Pardo, the Yidams appear. At that time, they did not recognize that Yidam came from one's mind, or that Yidam is one's own Yidam, or they did not understand, oh, this is the Tara, oh, this is the Yamitaga, oh, this is a Manzushire. They did not understand. That's where second fault. Third, then they wake up, so they could not attend the Yidam's stage. That's where they could not become Sambhogakaya. They could not recognize the clarity of death. That's where they could not become Dharmakaya, but then they should come back in this life again. But they practiced well. That's where they found a special form. So we call reincarnations, something like that. So they rebirth like good families, practitioners' families, good environment for practice, or some particularly reborn in a place where there is no dharma's name, something like that. They help to understand, people understand dharma, something like that. So that's the manifestation we can explain in the few ways. Okay.
Thank you, Khenpo. I think I need to watch this about 20 more times and then I'll get it.
But it's a very good question. Thank you. The simple way is manifestation means one arise compassion. That one is also become manifestation of the Jinrei, for example. For example, if I go to New York, there are 100 monastics, and I go there and I can say I'm the monastery of GBI. So I'm not Garchi Rinpoche, but still I can say, and people can understand something like that. So when one arises compassion, then still one can include it manifestation of a Jinrei. Okay.
Okay, that helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. So Shana, maybe I ask you. So if you feel, can you explain a little bit about the, for example, Tongling practice, Tongling, taking and giving in a short?
I can explain my experience with it.
Yes.
It feels, so my experience with Tonglen, and I'll try and not make it too long, but I really love it. It started for me like 3 years ago when and tell me if you have trouble hearing me because I have my earbuds in.
I can hear you.
Okay, thanks. And we were bike packing up in Oregon and Washington, and we were going through areas that had been clear cut with, and I was just feeling so much grief about what we're doing to our earth. And I didn't want to be sunk in that grief. So I started breathing in what looked like scarring on the earth, where it was clear cut, and breathing out like just fresh air and fresh water and sunlight for the trees. And it helped my mental state to do that. So I kept doing it. And then as I kept doing it, there became fires and earthquakes, and I started using it. I would for fires around the world and for earthquakes. And then it became breathing in the elements, like the element of fire, and breathing out rain, gentle rain. Or here in Arizona, we can have like big winds or really dry heat. And so I also have used it for breathing in that dry heat and breathing out coolness and water. And then it became sometimes the elements in my body. And this is where I really don't know if this is right or not. And I really appreciate your teaching. And as I toddle along and I fall off the path, you tell me, yeah, that's a little bit of self-grasping there. Come on back. But I also breathe in, like, for me personally, after the election, I just felt so much compression and I felt darkness and I felt density in my body. And so I started using it to, since the teaching with Garchen Rinpoche, the winter teachings, I started to feel lightness again and could access and breathing into my body hatred. And I really don't know if this is right, but darkness and density, and then just breathing out light. And somehow, and I don't know if this is correct and if I need to make a change, but I feel like the darkness comes in and at a cellular level, it transmits or transmutes to a light, and that comes back out. And that for me has been heartening. It gives me hope. It gives me like heart, and I really feel that I can be more a part of the solution than part of the problem, which I was worried about becoming as after the election. And there's one other thing. Do you want me to share one more thing? Or
Yes, please.
am I done?
Yes.
So I play West African drums with a group here in town in Tucson. And last night we played our biggest show ever at it's a West African drumming group. And I guess the backstory to that is what I learn in Buddhism, in my Buddhist practice, like I feel in West African dancing and drumming, which I've done for the last 15 years. It's like a portal to spirit or an energy. And last night we played at the University of Arizona men's basketball game at halftime. And it was amazing. There's thousands of people there. And I just felt like we were all one. And that's what my practice of Tonglen, I feel that like we're all elements. We're all one. And if I can be a part of that transformational process, I feel grateful. And last night at the basketball game, I felt like we as a group of drummers brought, I don't know what, but a joy for certain, a joy. And people were really captivated. And I feel like it allows people to access their own portals, their own Buddha nature, their own ability to transform. So I'm very grateful to Tonglen practice, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. May I ask Jay Larson? I think. Jay, are you there? Yes, please. If I ask you that there are 6 perfections: generosity, moral discipline, patience, diligence, concentration, and wisdom. So, which one you are more kind of easy to practice, and how do you practice? Can you share briefly for us?
I'm going to go a different way.
Oh,
Yep. I'm going to go a different way, Khenpo.
yeah, of course.
So the one by practice, I'm going to talk about the one that I spend the most time on, and that is patience. Because I don't think patience is the correct translation. I don't think it's the correct translation into English. I don't think the English connotation, at least for my perspective, and the word patience are not what it's more of is for me more of a calmness or a steadiness. And it's more with being I don't like the word, I'll use the word present, but it's more of, it's not an acceptance either. It's a recognition of reality, rather than the fighting with reality, which for me manifests as anger. That's me pushing away the reality. And then to balance that out, then I bring in the pride so that I can keep that stability and that balance. And so it's a recognition of what is. And by maintaining that recognition, by continuing to go back and become familiar with that recognition of what is, then that calmness and steadiness is radiated. And that's one of the things and it's actually a scientist, but it's also from the Buddhist perspective that she actually is looking into something called the leaky body. And she's saying that we basically leak. And so if I am constantly full of that anger and that pride, then it blocks the light. There is no radiance. And I'm affecting not just myself, I'm affecting the universe, or the universe, yeah. And so for me, it's patience. It's that calmness, that stillness, that recognition of staying in touch with reality, with what is.
Thank you so much. Okay, Trish, do you have question? I see your hand. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do. I do.
Oh.
Okay, following up what Jay was just saying, I was reminded of something, which I'm reminded of a lot lately. Rinpoche had sent out a letter via email about, I guess, after the winter teachings, in a summary. Well, he didn't send it out, but it was a summary of what he had said. And there was a line in there that keeps coming to my mind, and speaking of patience, reminds me of this, and that is, where is your mind right now? He said that we need to remember this. And so I've been finding that coming to my mind a lot lately. And I can be just as impatient as anybody else, but I find that kind of brings me back into that patience, that quiet, that where is my mind right now? And I wanted to ask you a question.
Oh, yeah.
I have found that when I talk about my practice, like what I'm doing to a Dharma sibling, or it's probably going to happen after this. When I speak about what I'm practicing, usually everything changes. Like if I say, I've been practicing the Tara sadhana for blah, 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 however long. And then all of a sudden I'll share that with somebody, and not just the person on the street, but in an intimate place like this. And then everything changes, and all of a sudden I'm not practicing it. And I was wondering, can you explain what's happening there? Because it's not like a bad thing happens. It's just that there's a shift in my practice as soon as I share. And I had heard many years ago, don't talk about your practice to anybody, which of course we're doing the opposite here, right? So I don't know if it's just something coming to my mind, and I don't know. Maybe you can help me understand it, why it changes like that. Or am I the only one that experiences this? Maybe yeah. Nobody else has that.
This is experience, and I think as I often mention that all the experiences are good during the practice. So I don't think that's so many things to fix or so many things to change through my voice. And then yeah, I think that. What do you think?
Khenpo, I'm going to jump in here just to ask. So Trish was asking, is it better not to share the details? For example, if you're doing the Tara practice with other people, because that might have a negative effect? Or is it okay to share the details of what practice you're doing with, say, another Dharma brother or sister who would understand?
That actually, I think it's okay, especially in this moment when we Dharma discourse. We all sincerely share and help each others. This is a spiritual we help each others through spiritual activities. It's fun, but there is a say that sometimes one doesn't share once publicly, once yidam, or sometimes one doesn't share one's dream publicly. Some says that, but the main thing is it's very much depends one's motivation. For example, I have some experience, and then when I am ready to share this experience, at that time I think if I share this experience and then my students think I have a special realization, and then I can control them all the time. If I motivate like this and then share, this is not good thing. But if I feel, if I share this experience, then it is kind of encouragement. It helps them to connect the Dharma more. And some things, is Dharma really benefits or not? We ask the profound great masters, do you have this realization, that realization? No. As then some total misunderstanding. Then Dharma doesn't benefit so much. Or someone a little bit fear or afraid of. They practice long term. They practice Dharma long term, but still they did not attain this profound realization. So I cannot do. That's why they just upside or look down by themselves. That's why for eliminate these thinkings, sometimes share is better. And when we share, there is also slightly way we can share skillfully, something like that. But Dharma discussion at that time, okay to share from my side, I think, because you all possess pure motivation in this present moment. So we don't feel each other's, or this she says something is he doesn't have that experience, still she says something, he doesn't has this experience, still he shared like that. We don't doubt each other's. From my side, I not doubt, so I think it's okay. Yeah. Then we all can see when it's depends the circumstance. sometimes people are disagree that some of our experience, then we don't want to make efforts with those people. Yeah. Otherwise,
I think for me, I'm nervous to talk to people about my practice. Like, I don't want to talk. I feel really uncomfortable talking about what I'm doing. And it may be self-sabotage that everything changes for me once I say something.
Right. That's also a good way of thinking. Through this way, if you not share some part of your experiences or practices, it's okay. But sometimes it's better to share. So especially when we ask each others at that time, it's all okay.
And I think in that same letter, this will be quick and we'll just continue on. Rinpoche had said because of the fires and that, to practice Tara all the time. And I was wondering, since the winter retreat, I've been really enjoying continuing to practice the Chen Rezig sadhana. I don't know what happened to me during the winter retreat, but there was definitely a shift because I wasn't doing that before. And I'm wondering, should I stop doing that and just do Tara, go back to my Tara sadhana? Like, I know they're all one, you know what I mean? Like, I understand to practice one is to practice all of them, but Rinpoche specifically mentioned Tara, and I was wondering about that.
This I answered to you publicly one answer. Many practitioners practice one yidam and then left this practice and going another yidam. So that is actually not smart. Georgia and those Indian Mahapinditas came to Tibet, and their biggest scold to Tibetan practitioners is that you guys practice 100 deities but not accomplish a single deity. We practice one deity but we accomplish 100 deities. They often scold to the Tibetan practitioners in the historically. So
may I interrupt? I just have a couple of comments. I have a few comments to make about what you're discussing. Today, I was doing the retreat with Khenpo Tenzin, and there was one prayer. It was beautiful, and it reminded me of something that I've thought many times. It seems like a lot of these prayers, if you just study the prayer, you're on your road to enlightenment. You don't have to do all that stuff. And I was just thinking that today. I rather do the sadhana because I don't want to take chances, but some of those prayers seem like they can enlighten you. And then the other thing about how when you talk about your practice and then it disappears, that happens to me to the point where if I decide to talk about my practice, like if I'm coming in here, I fully expect that it may disappear. And that's what happens. And I think your thing where you were saying that, you got to decide what you want to disappear, well, I don't know what you're, so that's it. That's all I have to say. But the same thing happens to me. And I mean, what do you do when you get to a prayer that you're like looking at the prayer and say, this prayer could make me enlightened? I don't know. That's all.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't mean you don't want to practice many yidams. But if you reject one yidam and then adopt new yidam, it then doesn't work. That is what I try to say. But this morning you practice Tara, and next you practice the Jinreze, next you practice this Amitabha is totally fine. It does not mean you just step-by-step practice. It does not mean you reject Tara or the first yidams. Yeah, this is one thing. And then the important one is we are going to understand all yidams are included one. that is, I personally have suggestion. Oh, this yidam is very special. Only does every yidams conclude there. This, if I pointing that, sometimes for the sake of benefit practitioners, I can say. Otherwise, in the reality, who is your yidam? Every yidam included there. If not, then Dharma teaching is not true. Publicly say this is profound yidam, and then all yidams included there, and all yidams not include in your main yidam. If it's, no one say that, if some we say or think, that is incorrect. That's for clarify. That's why I say would love to share this. Okay. Anyone has questions, or I'm ready? I ask.
I did ask you a question. Maybe I have to raise my hand.
Oh yes, please.
The first question is too, I mean, what do you do when you hit upon prayer? I mean, some of these prayers that we say there's no word for them. They're fantastic. And so when you hit on a prayer like that, like we did the prayer to be born with in Sukhavati was last prayer we did, or among the last prayers. We did this long version, and it was terrific. And so it makes me feel like, why are we doing this and doing that, meditating and stuff? Some of these prayers, I think if you just say them over and over again. And then my other question is, the name of the sadhana we did today was called Wisdom Elixir Drops. I have no idea what that means. Oh, the Wisdom Elixir Drops. What does that mean? The Wisdom Elixir Drops.
First, I try to answer the first question, and then later I will ask you again. So, Sukhavati Pure Land. So you feel that is very long? Is this your?
No, I felt it was fantastic. I felt that if I read it over and over again, maybe I'll become enlightened. It's a fantastic prayer.
So what is your questions are then?
Sometimes I just think, it's just me thinking, and I want your opinion on my thinking.
I
think, why am I doing all this work and the meditation and the this and the that? It's like, it seems like you can find, if you find one good prayer and say that over and over again, you're good. But I know this isn't true, so I wanted you to comment on it.
Yes, I have a very big comment on that. Just kidding. There's we are going to act as bodhisattvas. I totally agree that Sukhavati's Pure Land prayer is profound. If we only practice that, we can achieve rebirth in the Pure Land and so forth. But we are going to benefit all beings. So that's why we are going to all of these different types of practices, and also Sukhavati Pure Land prayer recitation. We recite only this prayer. At the same time, we are practicing other practices, and then those practices helped us to understand the meaning of this Sukhavati Pure Land more profound. And then when we understand profoundly, then these practices or recitations benefit us profoundly. So we don't want to be satisfied with only a single practice. But for welfare other beings and oneself both, we can practice many different practices, but we can keep one main practice or individual practice. That is what I love to comment on your wonderful speaking, sharing. And then second, what is your question?
The wisdom elixir drops. I couldn't ask Khenpo Sanduk because he didn't give us time to ask. But and I didn't hear him talk about it. What are elixir drops? No, they're wisdom elixir drops.
Wisdom elixir?
Elixir, like.
Okay, I will try to answer next week, okay? Elixir, okay. I don't understand the meaning of the words of the elixir. Sorry. Thank you for asking and sharing wonderfully. Thank you. And another question is, Lisa, can I ask you a question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. So, what is if you share a little bit about practice on bodhicitta or compassion, and what did you feel, something like that? Can you share with us?
Okay. Can I think for just a moment?
Yes. Yes.
That is such a very expansive.
Okay. Yes. And then I ask you next person. After I ask one person and then you share. Is that okay? When you at that moment you can think.
Okay.
Hello, Rosemary. Can you share your daily practice? If you don't want to share what is your yidam, or not very kind of, if you don't want to share very kind of clearly something, but for example, I practice like this and it benefits me like this way, something like that.
Sure. I think I have like an aspirational practice schedule, and sometimes I do everything that I want to do in a day. But there are a lot of days where I'm just sort of just squeaking in the samaya commitments. I try to do like opening prayers first thing in the morning, and read the 37 Bodhisattva practices. And then if I'm not like very in a hurry, I try to sit and do like a loving kindness meditation. And then in the evening before bed, I have, sometimes it feels like a little bit too much, but some of them are samaya commitments. So I do some different mantra recitations for a couple different yidams. And then I say, I like certain prayers to Tara and the World Peace Prayer and Shantideva's dedication. And in the middle, if I get to it, I'll do like sometimes just like 20 minutes meditating on the home or whatever. And then try to just keep a positive aspiration throughout the day. And that's like generally what I try to do if I can. So thank you. Thanks for asking.
Thank you so much. Okay, Lisa, are you ready?
Yes, I can answer your question, Khenpo.
Thank you.
In this way, I think I'll just say that the four thoughts that turn the mind. When I started really studying and reflecting on the four thoughts deeply, that's when I first, the feeling of bodhicitta first arose. So just the recognition of the certainty that samsara is an ocean of suffering, and seeing like my own suffering is the same suffering that all beings experience. And, understanding the causes, and that suffering is not our true nature, and that it can be removed. But however, if you do not have a precious human life and you don't have an authentic guide, you do not have access to removing the causes of suffering and adopting the causes of happiness. So the feeling of like, it really wasn't until I came to the Garchen Institute and met Garchen Rinpoche that I really felt like sort of the depth of that connection to those four thoughts and to bodhicitta, and to just, I guess, just that deep gratitude of like that I have. It's so hard to even find words, but the feeling of devotion, and that to me is really the same as bodhicitta. So like the devotion connecting to the mind of the guru, and like just the realization or the understanding or just the feeling of like I have this precious human life, and looking back at sort of all of the beings like in the ocean of samsara, this endless ocean of suffering that have no light to show the way in the darkness, then that feeling of like I have to apply myself, I have to just this very strong like motivation that I must utilize this opportunity now because it's impermanent. And and so just the recollection of that for me is a very strong a feeling arises from especially the four thoughts that turn the mind. Because I think in degenerate times that, especially as lay practitioners, but I'm sure, there's obstacles and karma arising for all beings in different circumstances, but just how easy it is to become distracted on the path when you're not in a supported practice setting. So the four thoughts really bring me back to that. So that's what came to mind when you asked me the question.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful experiences, wonderful sharing you all. Thank you so much. And we have 5 more minutes, so I recorder. Hello.
Yes.
So, where are you now?
I'm in Brazil.
Brazil.
São Paulo.
Thank you. Thank you for participating from far away. I guess.
In the last few Sundays, I sometimes I couldn't connect to the Zoom, so I watched through YouTube, but I've been present in all the previous encounters.
Thank you. So, are you? What is your interesting practice? If you briefly share with us, and why?
Oh, try to make a short answer, but at the present moment, the focus of my practice is developing and enhancing bodhicitta and the perfection of patience, as Gachin Rinpoche teaches. I studied Buddhism for more than 10 years.
Wow.
Initially, I started to study Shravakayana and Theravada Center. I'm a doctor, and I developed interest for neuroscience of meditation and all the stuff. And a few years after, I met a Dzogchen Lama who teaches Dujong Linpa's texts in the Nyingma tradition. And I practice, still my main practice is Dzogchen meditation. But by means of this Lama Alan Wallace, he speaks for his students about Gachin Rinpoche. And for about 5 years, I had a Guru Rinpoche online empowerment by Gachin Rinpoche in the time of the pandemics. And since then, there quite a shift in my practice, because I always thought that loving kindness is harder to practice and develop than shamatha, than mindfulness. I don't have much attainment in either of ones, but it seems easier to develop sharp attention than real love more than you already have. And when I met Gachin Rinpoche, that was kind of his mere existence and his ways of looking for us kind of made it a little easier. Since then, his Gachin Rinpoche is my Lama who teaches bodhicitta, love and kindness. And I think it's just like how he says, that's the quality of melting the ice to make other achievements. So most important parts of my practice today is Dzogchen meditation, aligned with Mahamudra, like the stillness of the mind, stillness of awareness and movements of the minds, and trying to establish shamatha meditation and bodhicitta, loving kindness. These two main practices.
Thank you so much for sharing one of our experiences or practices.
Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara, are you there?
Hello, how are you? I don't know where I am on here, but I'm here.
Oh, where actually you are from? What to say?
I am from Boston.
Boston. Oh,
yes.
Thank you for participating. Yeah. So, did you practice this Ndogong lineages practices?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you practice the Jigten Sungho's some teachings or something like that? This lineage?
Yes. I've done a lot of my teachings with Gachin Rinpoche.
Oh.
So for about, I don't know how many years, a lot of years. He's like part of me, you know. I can't explain how that is, but you know, he's the head of the lineage, and I just feel him, you know. And I remember somebody, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but somebody said if he comes back, he's going to come back as a good practitioner. So I'm looking around for him.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so sorry. You have a special power in the Zoom participant. I 100% forgot there. And here are wonderful people. I just kidding. I actually keep my main side, but so actually you asked me Manalong. What is your name? Sorry. What's your name? Hilo. Hulo. Hulo, thank you. You asked me one long. I think I will do. So it's and oh yeah.
Hello. Hi.
So if I ask you, you were there today. This teaching, half I think. You were here.
Yes. Yes.
So I ask you a condition that is if how to ask? Were you there during the meditation this morning?
Yes.
Oh yes. So can you share a little experience, the meditation session and teaching session and discussion session, only these three?
Okay. Meditation. Was very good to calm my mind. And teaching. I don't know.
How about this discussion?
It's nice to hear other people share their experience developing bodhicitta.
Yeah, thank you. And can you share your name? Sorry, the next. Yes.
Pablo.
Pablo, yes, and when you became Buddhist, do you remember?
Yes, my daily practice started in 2020.
2020, oh.
Yeah, I take refuge on 2017, but I actually started practice seriously 2020.
Oh, thank you so much. I think our time's out, yeah? Okay. Sorry, may I ask you next week? Today the time's up. And it's together a brother, Louis? Yulo. It's Yulo is better.
Hugo.
Bitcoin.
Hugo,
yeah. Requested the money long. So this one sangha asks, then it benefit many Dharma brothers, sisters. So I will recite that. It's very short, okay? Saktongulo Jerve Jaboton, Jindon Carbazambe Sanjeno, Nankata Pecheve, Zivaji Simbachine, Zelaso, and the Oman Beme Hong, Givandi, near the Dajis in one region, Roa Chikjo Malebati, Salangu Parsho. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you, and I deeply rejoice, but more than I, who rejoice to you. His Eminence Ngakchen Rinpoche rejoice to you. When he rejoices to you, his mind is with you. When we make happy his mind, then his life will stay longer, and then his benefit pervades everywhere. So I deeply rejoice, and all the Yidams and Buddhas, Bodhisattvas rejoice you and protect you. And I deeply say thank you from my bottom of our heart. And then let us dedicate our dedication for those who passed away through fire disaster, earthquake, war, and other disease. So we dedicate our merit for the sake of them. Okay? Page number 56 in the yellow book. If you have there, if you don't have, just you arise bodhicitta. That's all. Ngomsar sanje nawan daye daye zo jobo tuje jimbo dang yonde zemba ente je to na la sanje chansa ba men kor je kor de je ngonsa ba de me ba ye de wo jin je shave shen gan de da yin de ne zembe jerma da je wa jin je par ma je par ter je ne nan de jan do jo de ge do ge mo la da ba ye so je san je jan san tam je je ge me de bar jin je la de so Daya da benzan jaya awan boda na ye so wa chan jo sem jo ren bo je ma je ba na je 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 ba nyam ba me ba yang gong ne gong de pe wa jo may bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arising. Where it has arising, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. So, may I ask one question? Question means I ask you, you are okay or not? This may bodhicitta, the precious, right now I recite. We recite the one verse. Can you recite this 10 times in this week? Only 10 times. For 10 times you recite it, and then you arise bodhicitta, and then you try to understand your feeling. When you arise bodhicitta, what is your feeling? This is the first kind of test, and I have some ideas to improve our bodhicitta, so I'm going to know through this way. And I will ask some the next week and try to more the Dharma brothers and sisters can share, have opportunity to share the experience of bodhicitta. No need of profound experience, doesn't matter. A little bit you arise bodhicitta and what you feel and you share with us. That is a great offering to all the Buddhas. So then if this goes well, I love to progress with some another method and all of you. And thank you so much, you all, again. Have a wonderful time, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If everyone wants to unmute.
Be healthy.
Thank you so much, Khenpo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Khenpo Da.
Thank you.
And Sangha.
Thank you.
Health.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to
you
be
all.
together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all have a great week.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.